It doesn't need to be fixed.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Amanda Lynne. Subscribe to Raze.
And welcome back, everybody. My name is Raze Chaos. You've made it back to my channel, and it's a weekend. It's a double or nothing weekend, and Raze is bringing it back with some DC, which you know he absolutely loves, and he's doing it with some Batman characters, which again, you know he absolutely loves. And this week we are going with Batman and, I'm sorry, that messed me up seeing the cover here, because it says Batman Knight. The character's name is Knight. And this is Knight and Squire, who originally first appeared, by the original creators like Bill Finger and Dick Sprang. They're the ones that put these guys together. And they were basically meant to be like a lot of things that happened in the Golden Age. It was a throw everything at the wall and spin off everything you possibly can. And this was their way of doing a Batman and Robin that was set in London. So they had Knight and Squire, which was basically their version of that. And that's when they met Batman and Robin, and that's where the long story begins, because it gets complicated and it evolves quite a bit throughout the years. But yeah, we've got Batman Knight and just Knight. That's he's just Knight. They just had to slap Batman on there, I guess, to justify the whole anniversary, that 80th anniversary of him and everything. We've got Squire. He's looking good. It's cute because people tend to think Squire is a female. But it is in fact he is in fact, just like Robin, he is the male sidekick. That's how they worked at the time. That's how they continue to work. And it's really impressive that they have kept with the original characters and everything. But we're going to go ahead and put this guy away, and we're going to talk more about the Batman of London. So there was a very long history of Batman and his Knight and Squire associates. There was a later showing of the later appearance of Batman and Squire that turned up in the Batman of the World idea that they had, where you would see a Batman themed character in every country in every country of the world, and it would be a play on Batman and Robin from another country. And they brought Knight and Squire back for that. On the deeper story, though, throughout the history of it, I absolutely love this, that they actually have the original Knight be killed by a character called Spring-Heeled Jack. Now, Spring-Heeled Jack is an old London legend, and turned up in Penny Dreadfuls, what we would have called pulp novels in America, but Penny Dreadfuls are what they called them in England. He was a fictional character, partially pulled from Jack the Ripper himself, but the whole idea was, and he is an urban legend, where he was kind of like Jack the Ripper, only he could jump straight up, and you see him in the street, think he's cornered, the police are coming after him, and he just makes this leap over a building. He bounds from top to top, and of course he goes from anything from being just a man that is able to a man that can just jump, to being a version of the devil, basically, where he's not even human. He just kind of shows up to kill people and then jump away. But yeah, there was a fictional version of that in the DC universe, and that's who kills the original Knight and basically has the Squire take over, as of course he should. He takes over, and they really kept with it. I mean, they really were consistent with keeping these characters, even though they were technically background characters. They were just kind of side characters. They brought Squire in. They kept him as Squire. And when they brought the Shining Knight back for World War II to join the All-Star Squadron of such, the Squire magically joined him. Magically joined him, I guess. But as his sidekick, so he got to be a sidekick again. And at that point, I believe he got some armor that since Sir Justin, who was the Shining Knight, came back on Winged Victory, his horse with wings, Squire ended up being his translator, so to speak, and his armor would allow him to touch something and be able to translate it almost, just instantaneously, magically. And of course, as comics went on, that got changed differently as well. And when they finally brought him back, Squire, of course, had then taken over as Knight at that point. And I think he joined like the Ultramarine Force that was kind of a global peacekeeping group that went after the the JLA for a while there. You find in that he's so dealing with the trauma of losing the original Knight that he's become a bit of a basket case, and he gets yet another Squire. He gets a Squire, and I believe that this is who these guys are supposed to represent, is that Knight and Squire. The Knight being the original Squire, having taken over, and then the new Squire being the person that pulls him back from his trauma and drug use. Which it worked for a while, and I think that's what they pulled in when they did Batman Inc. These guys were obviously part of that. And as it progressed, once again, they have to keep it to the point where Knight does end up passing away, because I believe he gets killed. I don't remember how, because that kind of went into the Grant Morrison run, and Raze kind of like shies away from that. But then the Squire basically becomes the Knight. So I believe in current continuity, the Squire has become the Knight, and he doesn't have a Squire. So I'm guessing these are supposed to represent the last couple. But it gets nice and confusing, and part of using the characters of Knight and Squire is it just kind of lends itself to the Knight eventually being killed and the Squire taking over. So it's really kind of hard to keep that going for a long time if that's the predisposed situation that's going to happen. Eventually, the current Knight will find a Squire, and then it'll end up leading to his death. It's kind of ridiculous. But then again, that's comics, and you gotta love them. But we're going to go ahead and take these guys out and have a look at them. And we start out with Knight. And honestly, Knight is just, this is awesome. As far as being a Batman of London, combining Batman with traditional Knight, it would really be hard-pressed to do much better. With the helmet being a helmet signifying a knight, but then having the ears going back, perfect to keep the bat motif. And then you've got the extra armor on there with the shoulder plates, the chest plate. This is a great mashup of the theme of a traditional Knight of the Round Table and Batman. So it was a really kind of a give me as far as the design goes. which was really excellent. And yeah, it was just part of the fun of comics of the time, especially when these guys were originally shown off. Like I said, they were basically the, hey, there's a Batman in England, let's go check him out, and then they become friends and all that fun stuff. But yeah, the updated version, the modern look of Knight is really cool, and it was one of those things I was kind of waiting for Funko to do, and kind of glad they finally got to it. But yeah, we are going to go ahead and dip into the Squire and take a look at his character design, because yeah, that's probably changed a little bit more. So I guess with this one they decided to give him a base so he can stand, I guess. I don't know what the purpose of that was. I mean, I do like the kind of base they did instead of doing the stupid little clip-on thing at the bottom. I do prefer these, but I think maybe just because in order to imply that this was the sidekick, they needed to make him more slender. And again, looking at him, yeah, you can still pass this off as a female pop. But yeah, it's really cool looking. They didn't do a whole with the original Squire. You had the version that he looked like in his original appearance with the Knight, and then you had it altered slightly when he joined the Shining Knight in the All-Star Squadron, because he had the magical armor on top of that. And then when Knight was part of the Ultimate Marines fighting the Justice League, there was no Squire. So having this come out, it does look like they just basically sleeked down the original design and made it a little bit updated for this look. So it absolutely works. And the green feather in the hat is one of the original pieces that happened in the original Batman series. So yeah, this is a very worthy addition, being no matter what the iteration are, having them represented is very cool to have in a good sized Batman collection. And they're absolutely must-haves for the diehard Batman fans. So, I've kind of rambled, and I hope you've been able to follow some of that. It is a complicated one, and yeah, it's one of those where Raze knew a lot, but he also knew that they had changed some, and it was just kind of like, yeah, kind of want to flex a little bit on, the history and everything, but at the same time, not really 100% current on that, so I don't know which direction it's gone. Once you toss in the Grant Morrison angle, yeah, you lose Raze will lose the scent really fast. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed this little bonus 2 character. Actually, you know what? It's kind of funny because, basically Squire is taller than Knight in this case. That's a little silly. I mean, I would say it's just a hat, but technically, yeah, Knight should be taller. And yeah, it looks like they were just trying to keep him as close to the same size as they tried, and in order to keep his the bat ears tall, they had to. Yeah, I don't get it. That's the only thing I don't like about it, is that Squire looks bigger than Knight in this case. But nitpick all day long. We still love it. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you are ready for Christmas, because it's coming fast. And look forward to seeing you back again here. And never forget that life is full of odd moments. You never know when you're going to be defined.